Fight!
Hello and welcome to another episode of the N64 Japanese Eye. As always, this is the series where we visit games from the land of the rising sun which were released exclusively there and try to answer the simple question: can you play and enjoy this game without knowing any Japanese whatsoever? Now let's be honest, so many times as gamers we've played a terrible game and thought to ourselves, I could do so much better than that. Well, for a long time gamers across the world have been able to do just that with the Dezaemon series. This N64 release was being developed alongside an N64 DD expansion disc, and it was expected to be one of the first N64 disk drive releases. After delays and the eventual demise of the DD, the primary cart was released in Japan but failed to make it to the side of the world. For those new to the series, the game is a maker type game, and in this edition it gives you the ability to create and make your own shoot 'em ups with up to 5 levels and a whole ton of options to allow you to really express your creativity. When you first boot up the game, if you're in need of inspiration, there are 3 playable pre-made games for you to enjoy. The first being Solid Gear. Now don't let the name fool you, this has nothing to do with the Metal Gear series of games, and instead it's as close to your classic space shooter as you could wish for. An interesting note though, all of the pre-made games were made with the actual Maker engine itself, so it does give you some hope that you too could make something as cool. Each of the 5 levels also has its own end of area boss battle, with upgrades, power-ups and high scores to rack up. It's a fun game but lacks the creativity to really show off what the engine can do. The second pre-made game is Usagi, which is known as Mr. Rabbit. If Solid Gear was a straightforward shooter, this pre-made game is as bizarre as you'd expect coming from a Japanese mind. This is more of a cartoon-like shooter with a ton of weird and wonderful enemies to take down. There are also some cool level effects and it mixes up the vertical with horizontal shooting. Not only this, but it takes you under the sea, and so it further helps to show off the wide range of styles and environments you can create in the game. Finally, there is a third secret pre-made game which is Ramsey, a follow-up to the Sega Saturn game. Now not only is this a secret game, I could also find no way to unlock this on my cart despite trying the code hundreds of times. And so for the first time on this channel, here's some emulated footage to show you just what it looks like. This is a much narrower shooter, and personally it seems like it was made almost as an Easter egg, as it doesn't have the polish of the other 2 pre-made games. So after all that inspiration, you can delve into the main feature itself, the ability to do it yourself and make your own personal shooter. The problem is that whilst the pre-made games have menus in English, the entire creation suite is all in Japanese aside from a few words. Sure, there are tutorials to explain in what appears to be great detail just how to tweak pretty much every single aspect of the game and the mechanics, and also creating your own ship, enemies and levels. But without knowing any Japanese, this is a 100% no-go zone. Sure, you could probably pick up just about enough to do through trial and error, but in all honesty I could see this taking months. If you have played the previous Dezaemon games, then you may be able to pick this up more quickly than others. But as there are other Dezaemon games on other systems which are much more user friendly, I would suggest that you pick up one of those first. But whatever happened to the N64 DD add-on? Well, like many beta games, there were development discs made, which were thought to be lost in the history of gaming. A few years ago, 3 beta carts were snapped up by a collector and dumped for the rest of the world to look at. One of these discs appears to have a very late version, and it's actually been hacked and combined with the N64 ROM to provide you with the entire package. This adds additional design features, and in a cool twist it's actually playable on a real N64 console with a flash cart. If Star Soldier, Space Invaders and Asteroids left you longing for more shoot 'em up action on the N64, then the pre-made games on this cart could give you another hour or so of fun. Sadly though, the rest of the game's awesome features are long lost on me, and so it won't be a game I would be returning to anytime soon. With shoot 'em ups having such a hardcore following, I'd love to know why you think we didn't get more on the console. Was it because gaming had moved on with the explosion of quality first person shooters, or was it because developers were too interested in making huge 3D games that they didn't feel a 2D shooter would sell as well against bigger competition? As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And until next time.